Hey, micro friends. I had a request to go over exam 3, and so I'm going to do it. Exam 4 is going to be dropped on you soon. I was hoping to get it today, Friday. It probably is going to end up being Monday, but not that you care. All right. So this is about the different infectious bacteria and things, and there you go. So number 1, all of our ports of entry for infections, mouth and nose are by far the most often used by bacteria to invade our bodies. Eyes might be another place, but not a great place for bacteria, more for viruses. Symptoms like coughing, diarrhea are spreading the bacteria. That was number 2. 3, let's see, strep pyogenes and Corynebacterium cause upper respiratory tract infections and potentially deadly diseases. They have receptors that bind tightly to the cells in the pharynx. Let's see. Typical pneumonia and atypical pneumonia. Atypical pneumonia is what we know as walking pneumonia, and so I didn't really make too much of a deal about that, but the atypicals are slowly into the lungs, and then the typicals occur are due to infections from bacteria. 5, let's see. We have Staph aureus, Clostridium botulinum, and perfringens versus E. coli, Shigella, and Salmonella is that the first are intoxications. They produce various toxins that are nasty, and then the latter are infections. Let's see, Helicobacter pylori lives in the stomach, and it is producing ulcers. It generates the enzyme urease, which allows it to actually generate a different pH, a more neutralized pH, and that produces ammonia. Let's see, question 7. Diseases caused by Bacillus anthracis and Yersinia pestis are start with a bite or a wound, might lead to death, but inhaling it, oh yeah, that's going to do it. So this is anthrax and the plague. Rickettsial diseases, they are responsible for Rocky Mountain spotted fever. Let's see, typhus is another kind of rash that is part of a louse-borne disease. Let's see, chlamydiosis and gonorrhea both have very mild early symptoms. That in women, though, they can lead to eventual pelvic inflammatory disease and sterility. Let's see, dental plaque is really dental caries started when a biofilm glues itself to tooth enamel. Okay, multiple choice here. Let's see. Question 1, exotoxins produced by which organism is strep pyogenes is the scarlet fever guy. Vaccination, this is number 2, vaccination with the Hib. Vaccine prevents some forms of meningitis is the primary answer there, not diphtheria. Active tuberculosis infections is A, tubercle formation in the lungs. Let's see, the intracellular parasite with no cell wall, that is going to be a mycoplasma, that's D. Legionnaire's disease is a bacteria that accumulates in standing water, so places like air conditioning drain systems that aren't drained properly. That's how it starts out. Let's see, the pseudomembrane formation is part of the diphtheria process. 7, let's see, Bordetella pertussis is the toxin that will begin to paralyze the epithelial cells. Let's see, the BCG vaccine against tuberculosis is not used in the U.S. because if you give people the vaccine, then they're always going to have antibodies for it, and then you can't track it in the population, so it's B. A disease reservoir for a pathogen is its normal host or habitat. Clostridium difficile is barely, let's see, is the best answer I think is A, produces severe food poisoning. Let's see, 11 is the following, which was most effective in reducing the number of infections by the oral fecal route. The development of effective public sanitation is probably the best thing. Antibiotics are no value in treating Staph aureus food poisoning because it's an intoxication, not an infection. 13, the following oral fecal route infections is not characterized by profuse diarrhea and or vomiting. That'd be typhoid fever. Helicobacter pylori, that's what's causing stomach ulcers, A. Infections by Listeria monocytogenes is often lethal, is the best kind of answer there. All forms of anthrax are serious, which is the deadliest without early treatment, and that would be inhalation anthrax is the real serious one. Clostridium tetani produces muscle tetany or uncontrollable muscle contractions. 17 is D. 18, which of the following diseases is caused by a spirochete? That'd be the Lyme disease. The tick is an important in the transmission of Lyme disease. Let's see. Which of the following organisms produce a plague that killed a third of the population? And that would be Yersinia pestis. That's what causes the Black Death. That's question 20. 21. Let's see. I have here A, tetanus. I maybe got that wrong. Anyway, I'm not sure if my grader may have missed that one. Anyway, I don't think we counted 21. I think epidemic typhus is transmitted by fomites. 22 is due to a tick vector transmitting an obligate intracellular parasite, and that would be Rocky Mountain spotted fever, C. 23 is D. Let's see, lice, commonly seen where people are impoverished, crowded, unable to bathe. That's epidemic typhus. I guess A, actually, 21 is tetanus. Oh, sure, right. Tetanus, 21 is definitely A. Sorry about that. Let's see. Oh, the chancre is a painless circular purplish ulcer associated primarily with primary syphilis, is B. 25, the final cause of death is aneurysm of the aorta, primarily, is B. One of the difficulties in controlling the spread of STDs like gonorrhea and syphilis is that often infected people are asymptomatic, so that's A. 27, erythromycin, silver nitrate. These are used to prevent chlamydia and gonorrhea blindness. Mycobacterium leprae produces symptoms and significant disease. This is what causes leprosy in the extremities and the body surface. Dental caries, found most commonly in human populations that eat a lot of refined sugar, especially sucrose. Okay, the organism that causes most urinary tract infections in humans is primarily E. coli. Yep. All right, let's see some of our micro essays. Portal of entry is reflected by disease symptoms because where you get it is where you're going to have the primary infection. So if you have it in the respiratory tract, if you inhale it, you're going to see it up there. It goes to the urinary tract, it's going to lead to problems with the urinary and reproductive tract. Mucus and Bordetella pertussis. The mucus accumulates because you don't have the cilia swiping things out, and that is associated with the whooping cough. 3, vaccinations versus antibiotics. Vaccinations are going to block the disease from manifesting itself, and antibiotics are going to be used to treat the disease once you already got it. 4, importance of virulence factors. So these are things that are going to make the individual sick, and there's various kinds of virulence factors. Toxins are one. The different kinds of interactions with proteins in the cell are another. 5, how symptoms help pathogens. So these are going to be things that would allow for the spread of the pathogens by expelling them. That's a good one. Vectors versus fomites. Vectors are things like ticks, mosquitoes. Fomites are things that you touch. So that's why tetanus is an issue, because you jab yourself, the bacteria is on the surface of the nail and it jabs up into you. Antibiotics used to treat botulism or staph food poisoning. They are typically not used to treat these because they are intoxications, and they probably will end up making things worse. Helicobacter can survive in the stomach because it adheres to the stomach mucosa, and then the urease is converting things to ammonia that can cause the acid to be neutralized. The mild symptoms of STDs, they are very mild. The symptoms are mild, and it allows for greater spread because people don't realize that they have the symptoms. Let's see. Staph aureus, which is really common, can cause bloodstream infections, pneumonia, bone and joint infections, boils, cellulitis. All right. Yeah, there you go. See how things went, and we'll talk with you later.